earth is rising.
Spend our life with a sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Oh, hey, Double Tribble. Welcome, Double Tribble channel. Hi, this is Ron on the Double Tribble channel. How are you? Haven't streamed in over a week. Not too long for me, but not too long of an absence for me. But yeah, it's been over a week since I streamed, so I thought it was time I did a stream. Yeah, this is Ron. I live in rural New Hampshire. Lots of forests and animals and stuff like that. I like to stream science and science fiction, and every once in a while I do an IRL. It's been a while since I've done an IRL. And I'm vegan, which is the topic of today's stream, more or less. So I stream about that sometimes, talk about it. Yeah, movie reviews, movies. So I do science experiments on stream sometimes, a lot of different stuff. So welcome to the channel. If you're watching on the VOD, if you're watching on YouTube or on a website or something like that, this is a recording of a live broadcast. So it's not going to be edited down. There'll be a bunch of mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So feel free to skip ahead or whatever you do to watch these type of streams, these type of videos. So today, I wanted to organize my prepper stuff. get my prepper stuff. I'm doing prepper today. It's I like to be prepared, and we got stuff going on, and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit too. Why you should be really, really prepared right now, because it's. Things are getting kind of dicey out there, so you gotta be prepared to take care of yourself if something happens. You gotta be able to feed yourself and all that stuff, just in case. Just in case something happens. And you should be like that all the time. Right? You should be like you never know when a disaster is going to hit or whatever. Even if you live, no matter where you live, everybody's got every region of the world has something, right? It has something that, if it's hurricanes or flooding or earthquakes or whatever, right? It's all different, a lot of stuff. Or political stuff, political upheavals or whatever, And so if something happens and your supply lines are cut off and you got to take care of yourself for a while, you should be able to do that, Everybody should be able to do that. And the more people who do it, the safer everyone will be, right? If 5% of the people are the only ones who get prepared, and everybody else is, slacking and they don't prepare, then when something bad happens, then it's a lot harder for everybody to take care of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's harder. If everybody's prepared, then the emergency people don't have so much work to do. It's much better if everybody is prepared. So if you can be prepared, you need to do that. But right before I did, I guess, the beginning of the streams, you got to wait for people to get find a stream or whatever. So it's kind of like streamers goof off a little bit for the first few minutes of the stream, and that's what I'm going to do. So I got these headphones. I had these old headphones. I've talked. This has been a subject of my streams for a long time now. These headphones that I bought, my $4 headphones. These $4 headphones I got at the thrift store, and of course they stopped working right away, and I had to repair them. And I fixed. In fact, put probably $500 worth of my time into fixing these $4 headphones. And now again, a month ago or so, one side went out. I think this side stopped working, so I could only hear out of one ear. And I've been limping along using them anyway with just the one ear. And I was at a flea market. When was it? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. I was at a flea market, and somebody was selling these headphones. It had two sets of headphones. It had this little plastic. Can you hear me? Little plastic bag. I guess I should check and see if that's actually working. Yeah, I think it's working. So we got this little plastic bag here that this guy had. It had two sets of headphones. It had these headphones and these headphones in this little plastic bag, and it had a connector, this little connector with it, and they're supposed to be wireless. They got little settings on here for adjusting the volume and doing all this kind of stuff. I thought, oh, cool, I can get some wireless headphones, And I asked the guy, how is it, like Bluetooth, or what is it? And I looked at it. It's too old for Bluetooth. This was before Bluetooth, but it's supposed to come with this little thing here, a transmitter, for the two pair of headphones. The guy didn't have the headphone. He didn't even realize it was supposed to have a transmitter, and but it did have this little connector, and he said, well, you can hook it up directly, or you can listen to the radio. There's an FM receiver built into these things, which I haven't been able. I tried them out, and it didn't sound like it was working too well. And I tried transmitting FM, see if I could actually use these wirelessly. Hook up an FM transmitter to my computer to transmit the audio, and then listen just like a radio, like on an FM radio, right, on my headphones. And that didn't work. There's too much interference and stuff like that, so that didn't work. Anyway, so I told the guy, well, there's no transmitter, and I said, would you take $3 for him? He said yes. So I did better than my last set of headphones. I got two sets of headphones for $3, and they even had instructions and everything, but no transmitter, so I can't use them wirelessly yet. I told the guy to look for them, see if you could find them. I don't know, maybe you'll find them. And I looked on the instructions here to see if they had the specs for the frequency or anything, to help me. Maybe I could hook up my own transmitter, but there's no details. There are no specs or anything. Anyway, I got these things, and I hooked them up with this little cord here, And I listened, and it turned out it was mono. And I said, oh no, these are, why would they have, this is sharper image, right? They're supposed to have the high quality stuff or whatever. And I knew they had stereo when sharper image was around. Stereo has been around since forever, right? It's been half, 3/4 of a century it's been around, I think. So I thought, what's going on here? Why would they have mono headphones? And it turns out these, even though these are stereo, a stereo cord here, it's mono. It's only mono. So I had to find my own cable to hook up to it to get stereo, and it did work with stereo after I hooked up my own stuff. And I tried a different. I've got this cable here, which is stereo. It works. And then I wired up a because I like to wear my headphones like this sometimes because I'm wearing my hat a lot of times. I wanted to get a cable that ran down like this rather than sticking out like this, because if I wear it like this and I plug one of these in there, then it sticks out this way and it gets in the way. So anyway, I got this cable that runs down, and I couldn't find one that was actually, so it goes to these type, these. Anyway, I got this cable and then an adapter here, and then into this cable. So it's kind of a messy thing. Unfortunately, there's no strain relief on these things. So they come unplugged a lot. This cable, when I'm wearing it, just the gravity of the cable itself will cause this thing to unplug a little bit, and then it goes quiet, and I think that my stream is cut off or something. I don't know what's going on, but it comes out a little bit, so I gotta always push it back in. So I tried gluing it with a glue gun, so I'm right before the stream, and it was working great. It was working really good. But then once I got the stream going here, and as the music's playing, I'm checking it out and running around trying to find stuff and trying to figure out, oh, you got the wrong chord, blah, 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 all the stuff, trying to figure out what's wrong with why I wasn't hearing audio. And it was because this little thing was coming unplugged here again, even though I had it glued. So I'm going to try gluing that again. So we'll have a fix-it stream here at the beginning, just to... I didn't put that in the title of the thing, but we'll do a fix-it stream here really quick. And I'll glue. I already went through and glued. They got these, I don't know if you've had headphones like that, where they have these padding things that are separate. And they got to be tucked in, and they're always falling out. These little and it's really hard to keep them in there. So I went and just glued them all. It looks kind of goofy, but I look kind of goofy anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't care if it looks goofy on stream. So we got that. So right now I'm gonna see if I can get this plugged in here really good, and then glue it in place. And that's what I'm gonna do. And we'll do that right on stream here, fix it stream. Here, can we see that? Yeah, you can see that, right? I'm gonna try to glue this, and it's gonna look kind of icky, but that's okay. Now I don't want to get any glue in the right in the contacts. That would be bad. Don't want glue in the contacts, but I do want glue all over it so it stays in there really well. And this glue gun, if you've ever worked with hot glue gun, this it's pretty easy to remove if you need to remove it later on. It's not that hard to remove it, so I'm gonna see how I'm doing that a little bit. I've got it. And you always get these stringy stuff on this glue gun stuff. So I glued it in there. So I'll hold it in here. Try to hold it in place without moving it, so it dries really well. So that looks pretty good, right? You see that? Yeah, you can see that. It's still working, I think. Yeah, because I still hear stuff coming out, so... You can probably hear it here. Can you hear it here? You can probably hear it here. Can you hear it here? Yeah, it's one of those echo things that just echoes forever. All right, so this will take a few seconds for it to dry. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to organize for my prepping. Right, I'm going to prep. Made my store run once a month at least, sometimes 2 times. I make a run to the grocery store and get supplies, and I did that. When was it? The other day, I went to yesterday maybe. I don't know. I forget. I went to the grocery store and got food and stuff like that, and my supplies. I try to get it organized and stuff. My first plan was to try to organize things by date, right? Because if you're storing supplies, what you don't want to do is buy supplies that are only for prepping, right? That doesn't work. You because then your food and storage or whatever is just going to go bad, and you got to replace it all the time. So the idea is to do like a first in, first out kind of thing with your prep food for prepping, and actually use that as your pantry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just instead of having like a week's of food that you go through or whatever, or like that, you got a month or 2 months or 2 months, however much you got food prepared for, and then you try to grab the oldest food in your prep stuff first, and the newest stuff you try to keep in your prep supply, and then that just works a little bit better that way. So I thought, oh great, what I'll do is I'll get containers of stuff, and I'll fill them up and put the newest stuff in one container, and then the next container will be middle, and then another container will have the oldest stuff, but just mix cans and whatever, and flour and pasta and whatever, all mix it all together in the containers. But that didn't work because when you're preparing food, you want to be able to find stuff really easy, and I was discovering that when I tried to find a particular item, I would end up going through all the containers trying to find exactly what my what I was looking for, and that just didn't work. So I think I'm going to change it and put like all cans in one thing, and all maybe beans in another one, and flour or whatever, you know what I mean, and separate it out that way, but kind of organize it into containers so that it's easy to find the newest and oldest stuff. I think that's probably the better way to do it. I'm not really sure. One of the advantages of doing it the other way, of putting all different types of supplies into one container, and then having containers like that are older, is that if you have to evacuate, then you can just grab 1 or 2 containers, and you'll have a good mix of food that you can still use. But I'm not worried about that. So I'm just going to do it the other way. You read about what's going on in Gaza and all these different places, where people have to suddenly pack up and leave their homes and try to survive and all that stuff. It's just really sad that they have to go through all that. But disasters hit, man-made or otherwise, disasters hit sometimes. So you got to be prepared for it. Okay, so let me unplug my glue gun, because I think I'm done with that. All right, so we'll set that aside. So that's kind of cool. I think these are going to last a little bit better. Let's see how these work now. Oh yeah, that's doing pretty good. So it's still a little soft. I'll wait for that to get done. But all right. So let me make sure. All right. So, and then the other thing I want to talk about was Planters peanuts. I got in my thing about Planters peanuts. They really screwed up big time. So I guess I can do that now. I can talk about Planters peanuts. You guys want to hear about Planters peanuts? Oh, okay. We got a chatter. Yeah, for those of you watching on a VOD, this is a live stream, and I've got a chat. People can type in chat. So I got let's see, Xiling FX. Not sure I'm pronouncing your name right, guy, but it says, "Hold on, I just joined. I love peanuts. Yeah, I love peanuts too. I buy tons and tons of peanuts all the time. Why not buy Planters peanuts? Well, I'll explain right now. I'll explain why. So this, I'm vegan, right? This is vegan stuff. So I got this Planters things of Planters peanuts, and here's an older one. This is dry roasted. This just says peanuts, I think. I put a label. I put garbanzo beans in this. It's an old one. It's a thing of peanuts, right? And this is an older one that I had from months and months ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know how old this is exactly, but and I've been buying these things for decades, right? Decades and decades. You buy peanuts, right? You go and you buy these peanuts, and inside you got peanuts, right? And they're either salted or they're plain, not salted, right? This one I think were salted. And this one says dry roasted, salted, dry roasted peanuts. Great, right? I bought them, and I bought them a while ago, probably a year ago. I don't know how long ago, how long these things last, and they were going to get, coming up in June, they were going to be expired. So I thought, okay, I'll open up, start using them now. And so I open them up, and they look kind of, if you look at them, they got kind of they have crud on them, and so it turns out they're coated in something. I thought, what, these are seasoned, they're seasoned or something, It doesn't say seasoned on here. It doesn't say anything on here. It just says dry roasted peanuts. I've been buying them, as I said, for years and years and years and years. I've been buying these things. Now all of a sudden it says dry roasted peanuts. That's all it says. So I said, shit, they've got coating on it. They don't even say on here anywhere that they're coated, seasoned, anything, or that they changed anything, that anything's been changed. And so I look at it, and look what it says on here. It says, I don't know if you can read that. Can you read that? Yeah, it says peanuts. Can you read that? Yeah. Peanuts, and it says contains gelatin. One contains 2% of gelatin. First ingredient after peanuts is gelatin, sea salt, and then corn. What is that? Cornstarch. I don't know what that is. Corn stalks. I don't know what that says. Let me see. Let's see. Cornstarch, sea salt, sugar, cornstarch, terule yeast. All these seasonings, right? But gelatin. Why would you put horse hoofs or cow hoofs or whatever in peanuts? Who would even think that they would do that? So that really pissed me off, because I ate one a little bit. I ate a little bit because I grabbed them. What is this? Yeah, yuck, And so I called them up, and then they were just, the person who answered the phone was a real bitch, man. It's like I said, hey, I got a complaint. You guys messed up, Food companies, it's like food 101, right? You change your formula of your food, you do something. You change the mark. You change something. You put something on. You change. Make a change, big change to the packaging, and you say, new formula, season, whatever, new recipe, something. They didn't do that. They didn't change anything. They just snuck it. They just changed it and put gelatin in there. So I called them up and complained. I said, I got a complaint. I bought this thing, and I was being pretty nice, I think, for somebody who's complaining, right? And I said, I've been buying these for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you decide to put gelatin in peanuts. For who would think that they put gelatin in peanuts? And she says, well, it's your customers are responsible for reading every ingredient in the thing, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, you didn't give me a clue. It's like what. I don't know if you've been vegan for any time, you know that you do have to read ingredients. But once you get a product that you say, oh great, these are there's no, especially peanuts, right? Peanuts. How could you even think that they do that? And I've been vegan for a while, so I've been doing this. I've been vegan for almost half a century, 45 years, 43 or 40, I don't know, something. Long time I've been vegan. So I'm not. This isn't new to me. But you get a product that doesn't have any animal stuff in it, and you go great, all right? And you buy it all the time. You buy that product over and over and over again, and if it's from it's one of these products that are designed like here. Let me show you something here. Oh, be right back. Let me get something here. So like this, right? This is going to be right. Tofurkey, right? It's. I don't buy this kind of stuff very often. Maybe once every other month or something. I don't know. I'll buy this fake stuff. I don't like getting the fake stuff too much. But this has a pretty good flavor, and I just use it for flavoring basically. But it's from a company, Tofurkey. Tofurkey is. They started out years and years ago. They came out with a product that was like. Kind of like turkey for people on Thanksgiving, because vegans are, Thanksgiving, everybody eats in the U.S. anyway. On Thanksgiving, a lot of people eat turkey. They kill the turkey and eat it. But vegans don't like that, and so this company came out with this thing that was kind of like fake turkey. I don't know. Anyway. And then they expanded and they did all these products. But the idea is, right? This is these guys are vegan. The people who started it are vegan. Their heart was in it. Blah blah blah. So I can trust if I buy something from these guys, and it says vegan. I know that it's going to be vegan, right? And tempeh is another one. This is. And it says plant-based. So this kind of stuff you can buy pretty easily. If I was buying, Campbell's soup or something that happened to be vegan or something like that, that had a bunch of ingredients in it, and I said, oh, this flavor of Campbell's soup it turns out to be vegan. Great, I'll buy this thing. I would probably look at the ingredients even. Every time, even though, because maybe they could change it, but even when they do change it, they either come out with a completely new flavor or new product, or they say new. They make a big deal out of it. They make a big marketing deal out of it when they change it. So anyway, it just really pissed me off that this Planters Peanuts would do that. Something as simple as peanuts, and they would just go ahead and sneak in some animal hoofs into and that's, for those of you who don't know, gelatin. Gelatin is made out of cow hoofs and animal hoofs and tendons and just connective tissue and anything. That's what gelatin's made out of. So it's gross. It's really it's just terrible that they did that. So anyway, yeah, it's I just had no idea that they would do something like that to peanuts, you know, of all things. All right, let me put these back because they got to be refrigerated. All right, so don't buy Planters peanuts because you don't know what you're gonna get. Who knows what, you know why they would do something like that? Why they would soil that brand? That's a brand that's been around forever, right? Why would they soil a brand like that? Why would they screw up and just cause some problems like that? Unbelievable. So yeah, warning: don't buy Planters peanuts. You know, if you're vegan or you want to be vegan or you don't want to eat horse hoofs or cow hoofs or whatever, you know, or then don't eat Planters peanuts. All right, so all right, we got that. So I guess what I want to do is reorganize stuff. I want to organize my stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff at the store, so I want to organize that. This Planters peanuts, I don't know. I was going to take it to the food shelf, but I missed it. I forgot and didn't get it there in time. So maybe next time. I don't know if they'll take it when it's open. They should take it, I think. But all right, let me put this away somewhere where I won't get it mixed up with the other stuff. Let's see if this is cold enough to wrap up. Okay. All right, so what I've got all these containers here. You see that? Yeah, you can see those containers. So what I want to do is organize all my supplies, and I'll go through them all, and I'll kind of just talk, about how I prepare and tips and stuff like that, and answer questions if anybody has any questions. I don't know if anybody's left in chat, but we can answer questions, whatever. So I'll just go through my stuff one by one, and I'll try to figure it out. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me adjust this mic. I got a new mic stand here, kind of, so I don't know if you can hear that. Let me stand back here and see if I can hear myself talk. Yeah, you can hear that, right? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, good. All right, so I'll just have to come back and check chat or whatever periodically if people are saying stuff. So I got these empty containers here. I got a really good deal on those, so that's cool. I always like to get good deals on stuff. But I have a lot of different things that I think what I'll do is I'll put the newer stuff on the bottom and older stuff on the top, or something like that, or maybe on one side or something like that. And maybe I'll set up like canned food and beans and grains like that, separate them up that way, something like that. So these are peanuts I buy. I usually eat these peanuts. I got those other ones because they were on sale or whatever. I got a coupon or something like that. These are the kind of peanuts I usually eat because I know I'm getting. You know what you're getting, right? It's a peanut in a shell. You're opening it yourself. There's nothing mixed in there. So that's something. And I got grains. So I think what I'll do is I'll organize them, maybe grains and canned goods, just like that, do like that. So, I got, oh, this is something that's good to get. You always want to get something, you know, for most of your stuff it will be like you know, just ordinary supplies, you know, like flour and dry beans and stuff like that, you know, stuff that can last a long time that you can cook and make stuff with. But you always want to have, you know, just a little bit of this kind of stuff around, snacks that you can eat without cooking or anything. Because if a disaster strikes, a lot of times, you know, things are kind of hectic in the beginning and you don't know what's going on, and you know, it's just hard to organize yourself enough to be able to cook food right in the first couple of days in a disaster. You know, maybe people are hurt, you got to tend to, or you know, whatever the thing is, you know. So it's good to have this kind of stuff, ready to eat type stuff handy, you know, a little bit of it just for the first couple of days, you know, so you don't have to worry about setting up cooking and all that while you're trying to get, you know, everything else going, you know, whatever the situation is. But most of your stuff should just be like this, right? This is just almonds, right? You can make a lot of different stuff with that. A lot of calories, you know, calorie dense food. All right. All right, let's see. I've got a whole bunch of these beans like this. These are dry beans, garbanzos. Most of my beans that I eat are garbanzos. But one of the things that you have to do my head is cut off there. There we go. One of the things that you have to do is protect, at least if you live in a rural area, you got to protect your food from all the critters. You know, we get mice in here, we get insects and all kinds of stuff like that. Through the winter it was pretty cool. I didn't have to worry about that so much because you know, there are no insects in the winter. They go hide or you know, they die off and their eggs come out in the spring or whatever. But now it's starting to get, you know, there was a moth here the other day. We get these moths that come in here and end up, you know, laying their eggs in your grain or your whatever, and then you get these little worms and stuff like that. So what I do is I protect them with these, just a trash bag, just an ordinary. These things are designed to keep odors out and all that kind of stuff, and I guess they designed them to keep critters out too. So I don't have containers for all this stuff, you know, other than these containers here. You know, I have a few containers that I use for. You know, just for like in my regular pantry or whatever. But I don't have like big, you know, containers to put this stuff in there. So I just put them in these things. Now, what I should probably do is maybe put a date on, organize these things and put them on a date. Oh, we got a chatter here. What does it say? Cheap viewers. Yep. Yeah, we got cheap viewers here. Yeah, we like our cheap viewers. I don't care. I'm not doing this for the money. I don't care if my viewers are cheap or not. I'm not that kind of streamer. I'm not trying to get the bucks, you know. So I don't care if my viewers are cheap or not. So let's see what we do here. We do that. I think that takes care of that. There we go. All right. So I guess what I'll do is I'll start putting beans in one of these things. Oh wait, I got more. Actually, have more beans here too. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we got some loose here. Oh shit. Okay. So I got about I don't know, several months. Okay, this is in February of this year is when I bought these, so they're not that old. I can put those in here. It's close enough in date that it doesn't matter. All right. Put those in there. I might even have, yep, I got some more here. Okay. So look at the dates on these. This one is April. Okay, so that's not too far long ago. April. Okay, so there's. I guess I can't put. I don't want to mix different beans into different things here. So that. What to do with that? Maybe I can put that in a separate container. Okay, here's some more. These are. This is April. April. Okay. So these are all pretty close to the same date. I mean, you know, beans last years, right? You can eat as long as they're not infested or spoiled or whatever, sprouted or anything. You know, beans will last years and years and years. So that's not a big deal. All right. We got beans there. Here's some avocados that I got. For some reason, they were selling. They were trying to. Florida they came from. Okay, so avocados must be coming right now or something because they had a sale on these avocados. They also had a sale on avocado mix, and it's just everybody's trying to sell their avocados right now. So they must be, I guess, in Florida and Mexico or whatever. It's avocados are probably coming in season. So, but these aren't, they're not ready to eat yet. You know, the way you buy avocados is if you want to eat them right away, you got to make sure they give a little bit, that they're soft. These aren't soft at all, so these are going to have to hang around and ripen. So that's why I have those out. We'll get to those later. Maybe I should put a couple of those into the refrigerator or something, because I don't know how quickly I'm going to eat all those. 5 avocados, yeah, I can go through them pretty quick, I guess. Okay, this is flour. I've got flour inside this one. Now this is the kind of I've got different. Now this one here it says 10. This expires on 10 in October, and you can go way over the expiration date. Most of this stuff, unless it gets infested. So I got a couple different types of flour in there. Let's see what else I got here. Empty bag. Okay. Empty bag. All right, so I think I'll put dry beans and flour in one, and then I'll put cans, like canned beans and canned fruit or whatever, in another one. I just have to seal this enough that they can't get in there. And I've taken stuff that has been, I've had stuff that has been sealed up for, I mean, really sealed up good, and somehow those moths are still able to get their worms in there somehow. I don't know how they do it. So let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna put the date on here. Product of Turkey. Wow. Okay. All right. This one says that's something you need to do too when you get stuff. They always have the expiration date printed in some shitty printed thing here, dot matrix or whatever. It's just impossible to read, you know. So I always figure out, or I try to always get this date. This is January 3rd, 26, I think. So I'll put January 3, 2026, something like that. And so I make it really big and clear, readable. That way, you know, in an emergency, when you don't want to be, you know, maybe the power's out, you got to look at things with a flashlight or whatever you're doing, you know, you don't want to have to be trying to figure out what's the oldest stuff in your thing. Let's see if this one has a date on it. I can't see this one. If this one has a date on it, I don't know where it is. See a date on there? I don't see a date. Not clear. I don't see a date on there. It's not in the front. Is that a date? Is that a little code there? Is that a date? I don't think so. I don't think that's a date. Is that a date? No. Oh, here we go. There, it's on the side here. Look at this. That's almost impossible to read. Look at that. Did you be able to read that? Oh, yeah. Okay, 2/24/26. So I'll write it big. February 24, 2026. There we go. That's a lot easier, isn't it? I'll put it over here too. There we go. All right. So nuts and seeds and stuff like that, maybe I'll put it in another one. Maybe I'll read that. I don't know. This is some oatmeal. This actually came 2 of these in a pack. That was oatmeal. Now this is completely sealed, you know, just like it came from the factory. But if I leave this out, those little moths will figure out. They'll lay their eggs on the outside here, and the little worms will get inside. So I got to put this inside of a thing too. That's what I think I might do. This is what it came in. This thing here. And I normally don't. I'm sorry to hit the mic there. There's a coupon they had that's really, really cheap. This is really, really inexpensive, this thing. So I bought it. I normally don't buy these quick oats. And I actually normally like to get organic, because they, who knows what they put on them. Especially stuff that's good for you. I've noticed that what they've been doing now is stuff that's good for you. It's like the health care industry attacks those things. They go after them. If there's something, vitamin or anything that's good for you, they will put pressure on the manufacturers to put something that's not good for you inside of it. Mix it in, like aspirin. Okay, aspirin is something that's it's been around forever, ever. Doesn't have a whole lot of side effects. It's cheap. You can get it without a prescription. It's blah blah blah. Right? It's not that it causes a little irritation. But other than that, it doesn't cause cancer. It doesn't have really bad side effects unless you're taking a lot of it. Over time. And so what they did for years and years and years, aspirin was just made out of aspirin and cornstarch. That's it. Those were the two. They had aspirin, and then you have to mix it with something because it's make it into a pill that'll keep it into a pill form. And so they use cornstarch, and that's it. That's what they use. That's what aspirin was made out of for years and years and years. And now, since the healthcare industry got really corrupt and want to make more people sick, they decided to put all these other ingredients into aspirin. For a while there, it was impossible to find aspirin that didn't have, the so-called quote-unquote non-active ingredients, right? All these different things that were added to it, But I finally found, the other day, buried in some store way out in the middle of nowhere, they had aspirin that was just aspirin and cornstarch. So I bought a whole bunch of stocked up on it. But anyway, that's what they do. They do that. So I can imagine that they're doing shit with even with just plain old oats, they're probably getting the manufacturers to put shit in it, I didn't read the ingredients. Maybe I should read the ingredients of this. I haven't read the ingredients it's supposed to just be oats, right? Let's see if they have. Here's the date code. They got the date code. A little smaller. 100% whole grain oats. So I guess that's it then. They don't need ingredients. Oh, there it is. Ingredients. Whole grain oats. That's it. That's all that's in there. That's the kind of stuff you want to buy. You want to buy stuff that has one ingredient list on it. That's the ideal. Buy stuff that has one ingredient or two ingredient. Don't buy anything if you can't pronounce or you don't know what the ingredient is. If it's some chemical name or something. So that's another thing. Shampoo. They're doing the same thing now with shampoo. Shampoo used to be, they used chemical names and stuff like that, but it was pretty, if you look up the chemical name, it's pretty pedestrian stuff. It's not, real, it wasn't that bad, But I noticed that ever since they found a cure for baldness, right? A way that people can keep their hair from going bald, right? There's some I don't know the details of it, but they came out with some chemical or some medication or something, some treatment for baldness now, so people can, it's part of the medical system now, treating baldness. And ever since they did that, then all the shampoo companies have suddenly, over the last couple years, 2 or 3, 1 or 2, 3 years, they all changed their formulas. Suddenly, all of them, changed their formulas on their shampoo. Now, why would they do that? I haven't gone through and looked at all the different, ingredients that they list on there, but all of them, just I can't find any of them that haven't changed the formulation of their shampoos. Anyway, something to think about. So, all right, this one. So this one is July 14th, 26. So I'll write that on here real big somewhere where I can see it. July 14th, 2026. That's pretty big. Yeah, put it on the front too. All right, that's good enough. Actually, maybe what I should do is pull those little packages out and put them in the bag that way. I might be able to get them to fit in those things better. Nah, I'll just keep it here. That's okay. All right. But I do need to make sure that the critters can get in there, so we'll do that. Do I have any more? Any more here? I got these, this quinoa. Quinoa, it's a grain. Actually, it's a seed, but it works like a grain. I don't know. Grains are seeds. Same thing. There you go. One ingredient. See? That's how you do it. Buy stuff that has one ingredient. All right, this says 8/25/26. So I can actually read that. So I'll write that up on the front here. August 25th, 2026. See, I write it really big. You can see it. And I think this one. This is a nice thick plastic, so I'm going to take a chance and hope that that the critters aren't going to be able to get into that, because that's pretty good packaging there. So I'm not going to worry about that one. I may learn a lesson, but I'm going to try not to do that. Try not to try to see if I can get away with that one. But, you know. Get in here. All right. All right, so I think that's it for grains and stuff that I have. You know, flour lasts a long time. I don't bake as much as I used to bake, but I have a bunch of pasta over there that's flour. That's real easy, right? Your pasta and can of pasta sauce, cans of pasta sauce. That's a real simple thing to have around. Has a pretty long shelf life, and it's easy to bake. It's easy to, you don't need a lot of elaborate stuff to make that, right? You just you put the pasta in water and then you pour it in. It's not that hard to make. You just heat it up basically. So that's a good thing to have around for emergencies. So I got a lot of that. I have several of these things that I have that I can use that are for pasta. It's huge, Again, I got you go to these, these stores, these what do they call them? Club member stores or whatever. Those big box member like Costco or whatever, and you can get the stuff cheap that way, you know. And you know, I buy my stuff. I buy like a month. I go like once a month, or sometimes I make another extra run for fresh vegetables or something. But basically, I stock up for a whole month. I don't know where the expiration date is in this one. Oh, there it is. Oh, now that's really. Can you read this one? Can you read that? Best by October 1st. Well, I can't read what that says. Talk a little bit here. Is that 2027? Is that what that's saying? Yeah, that's what that is, right? 2027? I think that's what that's saying. Yeah, I think that's 2027. Now, there's nowhere that I can write on this one in marking pen that will show up very easily. So I don't know what to do with this one. Yeah, that doesn't show up too well. I don't have labels. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go through the whole trouble of trying to find labels and do all that. So that's, you can read that. You can read that better than what the other thing said, right? So yeah, you can read that better. So I guess I can put some of these in there. Or maybe I'll just keep these separate. Let me see how much pasta stuff I have. Okay, this is one that I've actually been using. And I have one I think I'll just put this in my regular pantry. Alright. I got another one over here. Two. Okay. Oh, this one, look what I did. I didn't even realize I had done this. I put the date on here. August 1st, 27. It's kind of hard to see, but then I wrote it over here. Make it a little bit easier. So the year, anyway. So anyway, pasta lasts a long time. So, all right. So I've got lots of pasta here. All right, I got one other place I can look. Yeah, I'm gonna go in the next room. I got another container squirreled away in this other den here. I'm gonna see if I can pull that out here, and we'll do it all at one time. big one. Oh, here, let me move this so you can see what's going on here. Can you see that? Yeah. To see if I had any pasta in this one, so I can sort it all, put it all together. This is mostly canned. Oh wait, here's some pasta. Here we go. I'll pull that out. See, this one I've had. This one I've had in there for a while. Oh, I went and did a label on this one. I went through the trouble of putting a label on that one. But this one I got like a year ago or something. So, but it still has another year yet before it's gonna go. So, I got lots of pasta. Oh, I got another container too. I forgot about. Oh man, yeah. Hang on just a second. Okay. No pasta in that other one. So, all right. So, I think what I can do is have a container that just has pasta in it. I don't know. I could do that, couldn't I? I could put all pasta into one of these big containers, and then put pasta sauce in there. I think that's what I'll do. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put the pasta and pasta sauce in one container. That way it'll be easier for me to find it. All right. So this is here. This one I already did September 26th. So this is probably a year they put on this. I don't remember when I bought that. I guess I bought this last year. Another one. This is almost the same date, so I must have bought those close to the same time. Here's another one. Yeah, this is one. This like this pasta sauce. This isn't like a vegan company or anything. So I generally read, the ingredients when I buy this stuff. Let me just read it again just to make sure. I read it when I buy it, and I try to read it right before I use it too, just in case I miss something. So now I got to figure out what expiration date they got in this one, and if I remember correctly, it's almost impossible to find on these guys. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they print them right on the bottle, Sometimes they print them on the outer packaging or on the cap. Or man, this one is really hard to find. Huh? Do you see it anywhere? I don't see it anywhere in here. See the date. Let me get my super duper glasses on. Let's see here. Is that a date? No. I think on these they print them on the bottle, like they put ink on the jar itself. You know what I'm saying? The glass. Damn. It's always possible that they just didn't do it right. They didn't print the expiration date. Oh, here it is. It says best. They tell you, and then they don't tell you where it is. Can you see that? It says best if used by the date on the jar or cap. Best if used within 5 days. What does that mean? I don't know. 5 days after opening probably is what they meant to say. So on jar or cap. I have to open this up to look at the jars. Damn, I don't see it anywhere. Look at that. Jar or cap. So it's not on the plastic. Let me rip this open so you can find it that way. So each one, right, would have it then, right? They're not going to just put it on one of the jars, I don't think. That'd be too hard to manage. Is that it there? No, that couldn't be it. See that little thing right there? Can you see that? Let me see if I can focus my camera here. Focus. There we go. Here, I'll use the camera to read it. This camera is almost like a microscope when you get it really focused in there. Okay. That doesn't look like a date to me. I don't think that's the date. That's some other kind of code. I don't see the. God, if that's how they did the date, this is going to be pretty rough trying to figure this out. the edge of the cap. Damn, I don't know. You see it anymore? It's not there. The top. On the side here. Focus this out a little bit better here. I don't see it there. Nowhere is there a freaking date on this thing. I remember this happening before where I couldn't find the date on these things. Well, we know this is Atlas mason jars. We know that. Got that on there a little bit. Damn. Okay, it's not along the edge of the jar cap. It's not on the top of the cap. Yeah, they probably printed it on the inside of the cap. That's what they did. Yeah, they printed the expiration date on the inside, the inside of the cap. So you got to take the cap off to look at the inside of the cap, see what the expiration date is. I'm sure that's what they did, right? All right, let's see here. I don't see it anywhere. Wait, okay, good. That's definitely not a date. I mean, it's... Is it? Is that a date? No. Is that January 6, 24? Is that what that is? No, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the best. They should say Best Buy or, you know, Good Until or something like that. Look at that. I don't see anywhere. They got it. Oh, look at they got little numbers here. This is a nice jar. I save these jars. This would be a good jar for something. Damn. Right, let me look at another one. See what it says. I don't know how I figured out those other ones. Get something on there. I don't know. Oh, there we go. I think there's a date there. I see something. There it is. There it is. This one's got it. 26. Something October, maybe something. Let me get this focus in here. Super duper here, microscopic. 20. There it is. Okay. 19 October 26. Okay. 19 October 26. All right. So now I got to write it on every jar because I took it out of the thing. So October 19, 2026. Yeah, that's a little easier to find, isn't it? Okay, October 19th, 2026. I'm assuming they're all the same dates. They're in the same package. I think I shouldn't do that. Let's see here. There we go, October 19, yeah, October 19th. That's easier to read that way. Can you imagine trying to find that expiration date with a flashlight when the power's out? You know, that would be rough. Now we know where to look. think. Yeah, 26. Yeah, same date. Same date. All right. I should have my mic over here. It's easier just, In fact, let me do a sound check here. That seems okay. Okay, October 19th, 2026. There we go. See that? I'll write it on top. That'll be a lot easier. God, that was a pain in the butt. All right. I have some more somewhere. Here's another thing that you can eat pretty easily. Let me just the focus. I adjusted the focus for close up there. There we go. So this one I found a date on, and this one's easy to find anyway. It's small print, but at least it's so. All right, so this thing is almost all cans in this one. So maybe I'll just keep this canned stuff. I don't see any more pasta sauce in there. I don't see any in here. So yeah, that's it for pasta. I got these olives. Maybe I'll put those in there too. I don't know if is that something you put in pasta. Yeah, that container is not full yet, so I whoops, sorry. So I should find something else to put in there. You know. Let's see here. Let me do a little checking here. Okay. All right. So if you're just tuning in, I'm doing prepper, vegan prepper. Also, I noticed that I probably do ads are probably interrupting here. I haven't been checking my ads, and I pulled out. They have a special feature where you can put something called a pop-out ad monitor, so I can, my last couple streams, I just got my affiliate, and so that means I got ads. I got to deal with all that. So I have this little monitor here that's supposed to tell me when ads are coming up, and it's got a little graph, but the little bar is not moving, as my stream is going to tell me that the ads are coming up. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but there is a little ticker here that says I got an ad coming up in 7 minutes. So I don't know. I'm probably going to run through the ads, so I apologize for that. So you'll miss some of this compelling content when when the ads come up. All right, so I think that's all I have in terms of pasta and spaghetti sauce. So I'll figure out something else to put in that container too, along with pasta and spaghetti sauce. Let's see here. Beans there. I think I'll put date. I have a whole bunch of these packages of dates. I think I'll put those in there. Yeah, I'll put the snack food like this stuff. That'd be good. Here's when I got the date in that one. That's 12/12/25. So that's not due yet. Okay, these three I haven't put the expiration date on yet. Yeah, so I'm going through and just trying to get organized for my. So I'm prepared. So I hope everybody's prepared. Right, this one says February 25th, 26th. That's pretty good. I say 23rd, 25th, 25, okay. So I'll put it real big on there, see. It's a lot easier to see. This one says February 5th, 26th. I must have bought these really close together, almost the same time. February 5th, 2026. Yeah, these last a long time, these dried dates. They just last a long time. Oh, now this one's coming due here in October. October 14th, 25. So now what I'll do is I'll put these all in there, and then when when I need dates, when I'm cooking, I say, oh, I should put dates in my oatmeal or whatever. I'll just go to that container and grab the one that's oldest and use it, and and so the thing is, stuff that doesn't last as long, you can't keep as long a supply of, right? Obviously, right? So like cans, anything in a can is going to last a long time. Canned vegetables, canned fruit will last a long time. Like a flour, dried beans last a long time. You can keep those for years and years and years. This kind of stuff is right, obviously a year, probably something like that these things will last. So all right, says I got 3 minutes to move. these around here somewhere. Okay, I guess that's it for the snacky type stuff. So I don't think I need to put anything else in there. I guess I could put some nuts. And nuts I should have all on one thing, though, shouldn't I? So I got lots of almonds. And I only got one bag of peanuts. Actually, I got some other bags. That's right. I got some other bags that I got. So I've got, yeah, I guess I have enough nuts here. These are some almonds. Got these on sale too. They're really cheap, a lot cheaper than you get them anywhere else. Because I had a coupon and all that kind of stuff. Plus, when I'm done with this, I can use this to put other stuff in, you know. So that's pretty cool. These aren't going to fit in there. Let's see if that works. Sure that those nuts. Yeah, I think those nuts are pretty good. I wonder if I should put, because the peanuts, mice like to get into peanuts. I have peanuts all the time. They like to get into that, and they can chew through that packaging. If I have one of those bags of peanuts around and I've got a mouse in the house somewhere, if he discovers those peanuts before I discover him, he'll chew through that thing to get to the peanuts. So, and those little containers that I'm using, you know, those plastic bins or whatever, the mice they don't make a seal. The lid doesn't make a complete seal, and somehow the mice can squish their bodies really flat and just go right through the lip of those containers and get in there. So, but I think that one will be okay. I don't know. We'll see. They don't do that much damage. When they get into those peanuts, it's not like, you know, all of them are unusable. You know what I mean? They're in shells, and you can see which ones they've gotten into. And usually, typically, what they do is they grab it and run with it. You know, so it's not like they're not spoiling it like if worms get into if worms get into your flour or something like that. That's a problem. That's kind of, you know, that's a really difficult one. How long have I been on stream here? Okay, hour and a half. Okay. All right, so I've got, I think I got this figured out now. Oh, I got some more grains here. I got cereals. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got more cans of stuff, and I have cereals here. I've got just ordinary cereal, right? Just like this, because this lasts a long time, and you can eat it. You can eat it, you know, just almost like a snack food. I didn't read. I should have read this one to see if they changed ingredients. See if they put anything in there bad. I didn't. I don't think they would have. Let's see here. No, I don't see anything in there that's. They all say natural flavor is possible. That it's. I mean, they could put something in there, but. And the vitamins, I've called this manufacturer before on their vitamin D to make sure that it was vegan, and they say it is. I mean, you got to trust them, right? So, let's see here. This isn't going to show up too well on here. All right, so the expiration date on this one is March 21st, 26. March. That's kind of hard. That's not too easy to read, is it? Oh, you can read that, I guess, huh? Maybe I can put 2026 over here on this thing right now. I put March 21st, 26. All right. Now the only thing is that the insects can get into those things, even though they got them from the factory that way. All put to get sealed and everything, they can still get in it. So I should probably put those cereals into a. You know what I could do? I could take them out of the containers and just in the bags. That'd be a lot easier to fit in the containers. They'd take up less space that way. But then they might get crushed, which is no good. I could put all the flour and grains and everything in one thing. Yeah, let me do that. All right. So this is going to be. This one says January 13th, 26. Can you see that? January 13th, 26. Might be a little bit easier to read on here. January. Let's see if I can find a better marking pen. See, that's a lot easier to read, right? January 8th. I must have bought these around the same time too. I don't know. I must have had them on sale or something. So let's see, January 8th, 26. All right, I think what I'm going to do, these don't even need to be in another container actually. I think what I'll do is I'll put multiples of these in and wrap them in those trash bags to keep the critters from getting in them. And just keep them out. Don't even put them in a container. I think that's how I'll do that. Yeah, I'll just keep this separately. Just keep it out separately somehow. And that way the critters won't be able to get into it. But I need something to seal that up better than just that. Hang on a second. All right, I got these little twist tie things here that I can probably use. If I can find one that's long enough. Not long enough. I think that might be long enough. Okay, so that I know has got my cereals in it. All right. I still got some more canned stuff over here, some fruit. This thing must weigh 80 pounds or something like that. Oh yeah, that probably weighs 80 pounds, that one, because it's got a bunch of canned stuff in it. So I guess that's one of the problems. I guess is if you put too much stuff, you got to make sure you don't put stuff that's too dense into a big. That's the biggest container I have. And I ended up putting mostly canned stuff in it. So I guess that's a problem. Is if you put all too much into one container, it's hard to move around. I can slide it around, but I can't really carry it. This is oh, this is another thing that I got coupons on. V8 juice. I don't know if that's good for you or not. It used to be good for you, but I'm sure the healthcare industry has caught up with these guys and they put something in there that's not good for you. Let's see. Can't read what it says. But these are expired already, I think. Yeah, there it is. May 15th, 24. Oh, it's coming up here pretty quick, isn't it? May 15th, 24. But I think it's still good. I don't know what could go bad in it. It's sealed up. It's basically canned. It's like canned vegetables or canned, anything, right? Let's see. Can you read that? I can't even read that. There we go. Oh, it says best of use, but shake well before using. That's not even the ingredients. Let's see here. Where are the ingredients? Is that the ingredients? Yeah, there it is. Vegetable juice, concentrate, juice of tomatoes, carrots, celery, beets, parsley, watercress, salt, natural flavoring, vitamin, is it K? What it says? Can't read that one. Oh, vitamin C, all right. Beta carotene, citric acid. So there's nothing in there. It's got citric acid in there. I mean, there's nothing in there that should. The only thing that it might be is if the acidic stuff is goes after the aluminum can. That's a possibility. Maybe that's what the healthcare got them for. Because this stuff used to be in glass, right? I don't remember them having come out with cans until recently. So didn't it? It wasn't aluminum cans. It was in a big steel can, like a regular tin can or whatever. That it used to be in those big, right? And that's what they kept it in for a long time. So maybe putting that acid in aluminum cans, maybe that causes a problem. I don't know. But it's good. Even though it's a year out of date, I don't see any problem with it. So I ended up buying a whole case of that, and I've gone through half of it in the time that I've had it. Maybe that's why it was on sale. Maybe it was expiring. Maybe it was already close to being expired. Because it didn't seem like I had it that long. But I don't think this needs to be in a separate container. I think I can just keep it like this for now. I've got lots of this salsa. Organic salsa. So this is another one of those things that you can just, it lasts a long time. All you gotta do is open it up and dump it in a bowl or something, and if you got chips, then you can eat it. I don't have a lot of chips right now, but now the expiration date on this one, I don't know. This is going to be another Easter egg hunt, I think, on this one. Trying to find out where the expiration date is on. Okay, it's not on the lid. Do you see it on the lid there? No. It's not anywhere on the label. It's not on the bottom. I don't see it on the jar anywhere. You know, they got them in this. You got to buy two, right? Two big jars to get the discount. You know. But I don't see anywhere. Let's see if you guys can find it here. Look, so it's not. I don't see it here anywhere. Right? See anything there? I don't see anything there. I don't see expiration date anywhere there. It's not on the bottom anywhere. Right? No, okay, one side here maybe, no. Top. See it anywhere? No. Damn. So I don't know. I don't know. Oh wait, here's something. I think I see something there. Does that look like something? You see it there? No. Wait, there's something. No. Wow. There we go. There's something. I see something now. Damn. What does that say? July 1st, 26. That's what it says. And I assume this one's the same thing. July 1st, 26. All right. That was a hard one to find. And I guess I'll write it on both jars because we don't know. Right, because if I grab one jar. All right, let's see if I can find it on this other one now. Oh, right away. Look at that. Okay. Well, we knew where to look this time, right? We knew where to look, so it's... All right, what's the date on this one? July 1st, 26. Is that the same date as this other one? So then, I don't know, I must have bought these close to the same date then, huh? I think what they do in the factories is like they run out a whole ton of them and, you know, send them to the grocery stores, and so the grocery store has this huge bunch of stuff all from the same lot, you know, or whatever, and they just sell it over time. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I don't know anything about the grocery business. July 1st, 2026. So that's a lot easier to see. All right. So let's see. So this is like snacks, right? So I'll find that snack. Where's my snack one at? I have snacks over here. There's not enough room in that one. This one's already getting too heavy. These are some olives that I already got a date on those. So you could read that real easy. Across the room, you can read that. These are going to go over here. This one, I've had this sitting around for a while, so I don't know what the date is on this one. This might actually, these are mushrooms, I guess. Pickled mushrooms. They must have been on sale or something, so. Ah, this one's got it on the cap. Look at that. See that? Best by 6/1/27. Oh, we still got time in this one. 6/1/27. There you go. That's pretty easy to read. Here I got some more olives. These are different kind of olive. These are different. These are sliced. Oh no, wait, these aren't sliced. What are these? Large pitted. Okay, large pitted olives, black olives. Let's see a date on this. Do you see a date anywhere on these? They're supposed to put the date on there where you can see the date without opening it up, right? So it should be on the outside of this thing. But I don't see it anywhere. Let's see an expiration date anywhere. No. What is that date? No. Oh, there we go. There it is. Okay. Damn, that was another hard one to find. Okay, so that says Best by. May 13th, 28. Oh, this has got a long ways. Okay. May 13th, 28. Shit. Screwed up. 28. There we go. Okay. 13. It's a lot easier to read. So where was that? That was on the end of the thing? You see it there anywhere? No. There it is. Okay. May 13th, 28. Oh, it's the same date. See, same thing. I don't remember buying all these together. I didn't buy two of these at one time. So I'm not sure what, I guess that's why they had them on sale, right? They had a bunch of these, and they probably. Although this they could have hang on. If these are good until May 13th, 28, then they could have. They didn't have to do these on a sale. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they just had too many of them or something. I don't know. So I don't think these are like black. There's something about black olives. I don't remember what it is. It says nothing artificial, right? But I don't. There's something about black olives. I don't remember what it is. That's not. It's ingredients. It just says manzanilla olives, water, and sea salt. That's it. I had heard there was something about canned olives, black olives, that there was an ingredient that they put in that was not good. But this doesn't seem to have anything bad in it. So, all right. So where would I put these? Okay, so we got that. All right, so I think I got it a little bit better organized. Maybe I should label this bag as cereal, because it just looks like a mystery bag there. So I don't know. But anyway, so all right, so we got a little bit more better organized there. Anyway, so I'll work on that a little bit more later on. But yeah, everybody should everybody should do their thing. Oh yeah, and you should wear your get these things too. You gotta have a supply of these. I mean, we're in a pandemic right now, right? So you should have a supply of these. Here, I'll do my public service announcement now. Everybody ready for a public service announcement? We got we got 5 minutes until our commercial. So okay, public service announcement. This whole thing was a public service announcement, wasn't it? Explain how to be prepared. You should have a supply of these things always. This is an N95 mask. The 95 means it's 95% effective. It filters out 95% of particles at a certain size. One day I'll do a whole stream on this and explain how these work. It's fascinating how these work. But these are special. These are special filters. It's not like an ordinary mask, you know. It's specially designed. It's tested. They do a bunch of stuff, and it stops the particles that carry the viruses. So the flu and COVID and lots of other stuff that is carried on viruses, it filters out those particles. And it has to say on it, it has to say N95. Can you see that? Do I have to focus this again? You can see that, right? It has to say N95 on it. Here, let me do this. Let me focus it again. There. See where it says on the bottom there, it says N95. Right there. It also has to say NIOSH, NIOSH, in all uppercase letters. And they all have an approval number on them too. This one's is a TC, what is it? TC84A8142. It's got to have that number on there too. But as long as it says N95 and says NIOSH on it, that's the kind of mask you got to get. And it has to be, another way to tell if you should, you know, if it has straps that go around your ears, then that's not an N95 mask. NIOSH does not approve masks with ear loops to be N95. At least they didn't last time I checked, which was, a couple months ago. And I don't think they've changed that because it's gotta be able to make a tight fit to your face, and the ones with the ear straps may not make a tight fit to your face. So they have these straps that go all the way around your head. And whenever you go in public today, right now, whenever you go out in public, you got to wear an N95 mask, or else you can get COVID, or you can catch COVID and spread it to somebody and kill somebody. If you don't wear one of these masks. And when you wear it, make sure it makes a tight fit. Make sure this little, if you got leaks around the nose, because a lot of times it'll do that, then you can adjust this thing here. When you adjust these, it's better not to squeeze them like this. It's better to push with your fingertips like this when you're adjusting it to make it fit on your nose. Every time you go in public, you got to wear it. You can't like miss one day or if you're living in a household with multiple people, everybody in your household has to wear these things. If somebody in your household goes out into public and doesn't wear one of these masks, then they can catch the virus and come home and give it to you, right? So everybody in the household, if you're going to do this, and you should do it, everybody in the household needs to wear an N95 mask whenever they're in public. So please wear your mask. It's right. You're more likely to die because you didn't wear one of these masks than you are to die from not wearing a seatbelt in a car. And you wear your seatbelt in your car, don't you? Right? Everybody wears a seatbelt. Tell me you wear your seatbelt. Of course we wear our seatbelt. So if you wear a seatbelt, you should wear a mask, right? Because this is you're more likely to die from not wearing this mask by catching and dying from COVID or some other disease than you are to die from not wearing a seatbelt. Okay, that's the public service announcement. Okay, that's the public service announcement. All right. All right, I think I got everything. One of the reasons why I did this stream is because stuff is going on. We've got. In fact, let me do that. Let me look this up right now. I'm going to look up on Google or somewhere here and see what's going on. Oh wait, I know where to check for this. Let's see if Democracy Now! They allow small content, streamers and stuff like that to use their content. So I'm going to check out their site and see if they say anything about what's going on. Because there are two nuclear armed countries right now that are going to war. That's bad. You got nukes. Two countries that got nukes are at war against each other right now. So that's a problem. Last time we had a war with a nuclear, last time we had a nuclear war was World War II. That's the first and only nuclear war we ever had. And the U.S. was the only, you know the story, right? Japan didn't have nukes, we had nukes, and it didn't turn out good for Japan. There it is. Dangerous escalate. India bombs Pakistan. Okay, yeah, here it is. All right, let me bring this up here. All right, it'll take a second. All right, there we go. How's that look? That's good enough, isn't it? All right, so it says Dozens of people have been killed in the worst fighting between India and Pakistan in more than 2 decades. India attacked 9 locations in Pakistan and Pakistani-controlled Kashmir early Wednesday. Should we? Oh, this is a transcript of this video. I guess we can play the video.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now!'s Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
Dozens of people have been killed in the worst fighting between India and Pakistan in more than 2 decades, following a deadly attack last month on Indian tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir. Early today, India attacked 9 locations in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, killing at least 26 people, including a child. Dozens were wounded. Pakistan called the attacks an act of war and responded by shelling areas of Kashmir under Indian control. India says the Pakistani shelling has killed at least 15 people. Pakistan claims to have shot down at least 2 Indian fighter jets. Tensions have been soaring between the 2 nuclear-armed nations since April 22nd, when gunmen massacred 26 tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir in a rampage that India blamed on Pakistan. For now, we go to London, where we're joined by Mirza Waheed, award-winning Kashmiri journalist and novelist. His books include The Collaborator, The Book of Gold Leaves, and most recently, Tell Her Everything. His recent Guardian piece is headlined, "A Massacre Has Reignited the Forever War Between India and Pakistan. Once more, Kashmiri voices are missing." Well, they're not missing here, Mirza Waheed. So if you can start off by talking about what's at stake right now and give us the progression of what took place. First, the attack on Indian tourists in Indian-administered Pakistan and India-administered Kashmir and what that means.
Thank you for having me. Those killings were reprehensible, and it was a massacre of Indian tourists in a pristine, really idyllic meadow in Pahalgam, where I lived as a child. And it's a very gorgeous and beautiful place. And those killings were shocking, obviously, and condemnable, reprehensible, and that is the main trigger for this, recent escalation now, because soon after the killings, there was obviously outrage in India, in the public, in the media, across the society and the political classes, but we very soon we heard big clamor for war, especially in the media. There's a lot of pressure to strike on targets in Pakistan, and it was kind of. We knew it was happening. Obviously, one hoped it shouldn't happen, it wouldn't happen, but that's what's happened now. And in many ways, Amy, this is an old war. This is a very, very old war, and not as old as the American president believes it to be, not centuries old, but about 75 years old. My grandfather saw the first India-Pakistan war in 1948. My father saw the wars in 1965 and 1971. And then in 1999, the limited war over Kargil. And I have seen 1999 and now this recent, the latest escalation. This is a dangerous escalation. It's a dangerous intensification because, as your preview said, people have been killed on both sides of the border. Almost all of them civilians. That has to be emphasized and noted. That people who've been killed in the shelling. Are all civilians. And as we speak, in the borderlands between Indian and Pakistani administered Kashmir, people are hiding in makeshift bunkers, in underground shelters. Some of them are kind of contemplating leaving. The main airport in Kashmir is sealed off, as are other airports in some parts of northern India. There's a huge amount of fear in the public, and this is that old thing, isn't it? When elephants fight, it's the grass that gets trampled upon. So Kashmiris have been kind of in the middle for a long, long time now, and it filled me with despair as a Kashmiri person, as a writer, as someone who's kind of thought about it and written about it, it fills me with a lot of despair. And I'm upset about the killings in Pahalgam, about the subsequent clampdown in Kashmir, where thousands of people were arrested, houses of families who are linked to Kashmiri militants demolished, and now these strikes and the counter-offensive from Pakistan. So I'm really, really upset, and I didn't sleep last night because you were worried. We didn't know what we were going to see in the morning.
And Mr. Waheed, you mentioned that this has a long history, that there have been numerous conflicts over in past decades. But at the heart of it, why has it been so difficult to resolve, and why have the Kashmiris fallen under both a Pakistan-administered territory and India-administered territory?
I'm going to try and give a basic sort of primer on history. See, we go back to the partition. India and Pakistan become modern nation states. Kashmir is left unresolved. Soon they begin their first war over Kashmir in 1948, which is then brought to an end through UN mediation. There's a ceasefire. In fact, it's an interesting thing. I must note the line of control that divides two parts of Kashmir right now was actually called a ceasefire line, a CFL, which came into existence soon after that first war I mentioned in 1948. And then it was formalized and renamed as line of control in 1972 after India-Pakistan fought another war, which resulted in the creation of Bangladesh. So they have fought these wars, and it's very clear. I mean, they have fought over Kashmir historically, all my life and my father's life. And there's three generations of Kashmiris and Indians and Pakistanis who have kind of grown old or under this threat of war. It kind of there's relative periods of peace between the two countries, and then something will bring about a fresh escalation, right? As the attacks in Pahalgam have done. They haven't been able to solve Kashmir. India kind of has in recent years claimed that it's kind of brought Kashmir to normalcy, but this doesn't look like normalcy to me. There's the fighter planes. Pakistan claims it's kind of brought down fighter planes. India has hit. This is also unprecedented because India has hit targets inside Pakistan. In previous escalations, previous conflicts, they would hit targets inside Pakistan and Kashmir, all of Kashmir, being a disputed territory. But this time they have gone into targets inside Punjab, inside interior Pakistan, which is what I cited as a very, very dangerous intensification.
And how has the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi affected relations between Pakistan and India? His increasingly nationalist stand in India.
Yes, it is a different regime than previous regimes. They are more open to armed response, which we have seen. And they believe, and they say they had a presser where they said that they have responded in retaliation to the attack in Pahalgam, as they did in 2019 when there was an attack on an Indian paramilitary convoy in Kashmir, in South Kashmir, in which about more than 40 Indian paramilitary troopers were killed, and then there was a strike in Balakot, which is in Pakistan and Kashmir. But this time they have kind of gone inside Pakistan. The Indian government claims that they have resolved Kashmir, by which I mean they, in 2019, they revoked Kashmir's limited autonomy under the law, under Indian dominion. And said now tourists are coming, it's returned to normalcy, the economy is looking up, and Kashmir is normal. But it is not normal, because what happens is, you can't impose solutions. You can impose order. You can impose law and order. You can't impose peace. And it's clear that this has imposed peace, and it's now, blown wide apart. And I really, really worry. And And until they solve Kashmir, my worry is that it's going to come back to haunt the two countries again and again. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Least of all, the Kashmiri people. They're tired. They are tired of the enormous, enormous suffering they have seen over the last 30, 40 years. And thousands of Kashmiris have been killed. And people in India and Pakistan, they've been killed. And it's in nobody's, interest for this conflict to continue to claim lives like this. And I was thinking earlier that I really miss the old days when people used to be opposed to war and warmongering. But now I also want to kind of point out that we're now at a point in history where, you see, back in the day, we used to look up to the United States and Britain and Europe, and because phone calls would be expected to be made to the leadership in India and Pakistan, urging restraint, urging people, calmer minds to prevail, and so on and so forth. But now that order is collapsed, post Gaza, it is collapsed. I don't think the Americans and the Brits have the same legitimacy. I mean, not they had much back in the day, but there was at least the semblance of this expectation that phone calls would be made from London and Washington to urge restraint. But I don't think they have the same legitimacy and same influence as they have.
We just have 30 seconds. These are two nuclear-armed nations. The final comment on the significance of this.
Solve Kashmir. The two countries have to solve Kashmir. Otherwise, they'll keep they'll stay engaged in this forever war.
Mirza Waheed, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Journalist and award-winning Kashmiri novelist. We'll link to your recent piece, A Massacre Has Reignited the Forever War Between India and Pakistan. Once more, Kashmiri voices are missing. When we come back, a historic settlement. Columbia University and New York Presbyterian Hospital have agreed to pay $750 million to hundreds of women who are sexually abused by the former Columbia OBGYN Robert Haddon, while Columbia ignored his patients who spoke out, undermined prosecutors, and shielded the sexual predator. We'll speak to two survivors and the lawyer who accomplished this settlement. Back in 30 seconds.
Fuck. I forgot to turn the mic back on. All right. God damn. What did I say? All right, so if you God, I don't want to repeat myself again. All right. Basically, what you need to do is make sure you have enough food so that you can make it to the next growing season. In case there's a complete, these two countries are attack, or they're two nuclear countries, right? And if they start using nukes, then it's not going to be just them after that, you know. Other countries are going to get involved. They're going to stop that, and it could go out of hand. It could easily get out of hand. And there are like a dozen or more of these situations that can easily spin to a situation where we have a complete collapse of civilization. So it's not something that's just, you know, apocalypse. It really is. We're close. There are a lot of these different things that can happen that could cause a complete collapse of civilization. And you would have to take care of yourself. You couldn't go to the grocery store. You couldn't, you got to have the food on your own, And you have to have enough food that you can make it until the next harvest, next time you could grow food and eat it. Around here in New Hampshire, we got a really long winter. We have 6 months of winter or more where you can't grow anything except inside. So you have to have enough supplies on hand that will last you long enough that you could get plants in the ground and grow them and harvest them and eat them, And you should know how to do that too. If you live in an urban environment somewhere and you're used to just, DoorDash or something all the time, or whatever your thing is, you don't know how to do that stuff. You should learn how to do that, because if there could be a collapse in a way that a lot of people who know how to do that stuff wouldn't be around anymore. You might, if we lost a lot of the population in a situation, you would have to know how to do that yourself, basically, You might not be able to find somebody who knows how to do that. So you should learn how to do that yourself. Grow little vegetables. If you live in an urban environment, you can't get access to the land. Learn how to grow little potted plants or something, little vegetables in pots in your house. Put them on a windowsill, something like that. But you need to learn how to do that, and you need to practice doing that stuff too. You should practice, obviously, growing stuff, but you should also practice not having things available. Practice, shutting off all the lights, everything, not having access to power, electricity, for a couple of days, and see what happens. And you'll learn. I've lived in areas where power outages were frequent and stuff like that, and I kind of learned how to, what I need to do, That obviously you got to have flashlights and stuff like that, but there's things that you don't really think of until you actually do it. So you can practice that. Another thing to do if it's a little bit more fun, is to go camping. If you've never been camping before, you should try that. Try going camping. And that's a way to learn how to take care of yourself. Go camping for a week, and you'll learn real fast what you need, what you don't need. But yeah, you can practice that and learn how to grow things and have enough supplies on hand so that if the food supply stops, you can last long enough to get seed in the ground and grow food and harvest the food and eat it. That's how much supplies you need. It's a lot of food. So anyway, what What else? I guess that's it. And it's not that unlikely. So you got two nuclear nations that are at war. So that's not a good sign. And there's just a whole bunch of things like that that can just spin out of control very quickly. So, and we have somebody in office right now who I don't understand how he can even go to the bathroom by himself. He's so incompetent. So if we had a big emergency like that, we couldn't rely on the government to do anything. It would quickly spin out of control. We'd have, they're not competent to stop something like that. So be prepared. That's the thing. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And let's see what's coming up. Stuff coming up. I've got. I want to do a stream on how the internet works. People want. I think that would be something people would be curious about. I want to do a stream on how the drinking bird works. The science stream. What else was there? There was something else that I wanted to do a stream on. I don't remember what it is right now. Anyway, I got some things that I got thinking about doing streams on. I'll try to do streams more often. It's been over a week since I did my stream. I try to do one. I try to see if I can do 2 a week. That's kind of hard, but we'll see. Let me put my contacts in here. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I got to set up a website, so maybe I'll do that on stream. That would be fun to do, right? Some of you other streamers out there who want to know how to want to set up your own website. I was thinking about doing that. I was experimenting around, and AI can really do that really good. I know how to set up a website, and it's just a pain in the ass to write it all and do it, and they keep getting more and better tools. But now they have AI. You can basically just tell AI, hey, this is the kind of website I want, and it'll do all the code for you and everything. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do that on stream one time and show people how to do that if you ever want to get your own website. All right. I guess that's it. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.